President, welcome to Australia. I'm just wondering, what do you hope to achieve during your visit here?
Well, it's the first visit undertaken by a Seychelles Head of State to Australia, and this visit will further reinforce the excellent ties of friendship that exist between Australia and Seychelles, and also to look at possibilities of further cooperation and looking at further developing the special relations that exist between Australia and Seychelles in terms of capacity building, technical assistance, and also trade, and also share ideas on climate change, on environmental sustainable development. And I think all these will form part of the various areas that I will be discussing with the government of Australia.
Can you tell me a bit more about what you'd like Australia to do on climate change?
Well, first of all, Seychelles being an island country which is being directly affected by the effects of climate change is at the forefront and also is a leader in terms of environmental protection. We have over 50% of our land territory reserved as national parks, national reserves. And we also are very conscious of the need to ensure that we have sustainable development in terms of preserving the environment and also ensuring at the same time that our development continues. And Australia also is very concerned about the need to have a policy whereby we mitigate the effects of climate change, and steps are taken to ensure that we protect the environment, we reduce carbon emission, and in a way ensuring that we have a safer planet for us to live in and ensure the survival of humanity. And I think that Australia, with this proactive stance on climate change, can play a leading role in taking necessary action to ensure that we come up with the right policies so that other nations that are today sitting on the fence and also playing the blame game can follow Australia. And Australia can become a leader in terms of action to mitigate the effects of climate change, and at the same time help the island developing states to ensure that they are saved also from rapid sea level rise and changes in climatic conditions.
I imagine this is a difficult issue for your country because tourism is the backbone for your economy. So how do you encourage tourism but make it sustainable in the same breath?
Well, we have a policy whereby all our hotel projects are integrated with the management and also protection of the environment. For example, all hotels ensure that they also participate in the protection of the ecosystem around where their hotels are. Just to give you an example, we have an island which has been declared as a living laboratory, where we have one hotel, and that hotel, the private sector management and ownership of that hotel ensures that they finance the management and they finance the protection of the environment of the island. So we ensure that development is integrated very well in the development of any tourism infrastructure. At the same time, we ensure that we do not have mass tourism so that we maintain the equilibrium between what our country can sustain and also the number of tourists that we need to ensure that we have a proactive and a sustainable economy as far as the tourism industry is concerned.
President, a lot of countries at the moment are struggling with the current global financial crisis. How is the Seychelles coping?
Well, I must say we are coping well compared to what is happening in the rest of the world. In 2008, I think I took a very bold decision to implement a macroeconomic reform program with the assistance of the IMF and the World Bank, and we have managed to reduce our debt to about 55 to 60% with the Paris Club and other partners as well. And we have had technical assistance for capacity building to maintain a very strong structure to ensure that we have a fiscal system and a monetary system that is strong, resilient, and works well. And our economy has taken a new breath, and business is doing well, investment is coming in, FDI is on the increase. Last year we had a growth of about 6.2%, and this year we think we will have about 4% growth. And I think with the tourism industry, which is again doing well, and this year we're expecting between 10 and 15% increase in tourism arrivals. And our fishing industry, despite piracy, is not doing so bad. We have also a very active offshore financial industry, which is also working well. So things are doing well for the Seychelles, even in this turbulent financial crisis.
You mentioned piracy there. Just how much of a problem is that? And I understand you've been working with the Maldives to combat the problem. Have you made much progress there?
We have been working with a lot of countries for us to be able to tackle the problem, with India, with the European Union, with America, and with all the countries of the region, in fact. And Seychelles has been taking a leading role as far as the anti-piracy fight is concerned. And most of the forces in the Indian Ocean use the Seychelles as a base for their operations. And Seychelles itself, with its limited capacity, we have a very, very strong stance against piracy. And whenever our fishing boats are taken, we go out and we get them. We sink their boats, we catch them, we save our fishermen, we try the pirates, we send them to prison. We have about 55 pirates in our prisons now, and we are waiting for the prison in Somalia to be ready so that we can transfer them there. But I must say that the problem of piracy will not be solved unless the international community resolves to get together and solve the problem of Somalia. Because unless Somalia has law and order restored from a failed state that it is now, piracy will always remain. And what is more serious, I keep telling everybody, I keep telling the world community, that if we don't do something with Somalia, it will become a nesting ground for terrorists. And terrorists has no frontiers. It will not be only bad for Seychelles, but it will affect the entire world, Europe, America, and everywhere. So it is in everybody's interest to get together and do something about Somalia and see how the problem can be resolved. There are many options, but something has to be done. For the moment, it is affecting the sea lanes, it is affecting the freedom of traffic in the Indian Ocean. As far as we are concerned, it is affecting our yachting industry in tourism. It is affecting our fishing industry. We are managing. We are, in fact, losing about 4% of our GDP of our earnings in fishing because of piracy. So I think a global solution has to be found to the problem of Somalia.
And President, can I get your opinion on the situation at the moment in Libya?
Well, Seychelles was one of the first countries to criticize the atrocities that were being committed in Libya. We made our voices heard, loud and clear from the very beginning when it started. And I think the will of the Libyan people will prevail somehow, sooner or later.
President, thank you. I'm just wondering if I can ask you one more question just in terms of the issues surrounding debt. As you mentioned, it sounds like you've had to make some quite radical changes to halve the level of external debt. How did you manage to sell that to your population and get re-elected? It must have been a tough time.
Yes, in fact, a lot of people are asking themselves that question. How could I go for an election in the middle of a reform and still come out with a very strong majority? Yeah, but I did it because I believe in democracy, I believe in governance, I believe in transparency. And when I introduced the reform, the first thing I did, I went to the districts. I met the people, anybody who wanted to come to these town hall meetings to talk to me, to ask me questions, to propose solutions, to give ideas. I listened to them. And by the time I finished the meetings in all the districts of my country, the people of Seychelles owned the program. They considered the program as their own, and they made sure that it worked. And it did. After 1 year, we had made a turnaround. After 2 years, we were growing. And after 3 years, now I think we are sailing. But that doesn't mean that everything is over. Challenges remain. It will always be there. But I think we are better equipped with a solid foundation to be able to face the challenges ahead. And people are very proud. The Seychellois people are very proud of their achievements. And they are looking forward to a better future within a vibrant democracy that is functioning very well.
President James Michel, thank you very much for joining us.
Yeah, thank you so much. Nice talking to you, Janice.